courtroom in Ikeja was so quiet you could hear the ceiling fan clicking as it turned. Justin Okoye sat at the front row, legs spread like he owned the place, his jaw tight, his eyes cold. He kept rubbing his thumb over the edge of his wedding ring like it was a weapon he could still use. Annabelle sat 2 rows behind him, not beside him, not near him, just behind, like someone watching a stranger. Her hands were still, no shaking, no tears. She wore a simple navy dress, the kind you could wear to work, not the kind you wear when your marriage is dying in public. If you looked closely, you could tell she had cried before coming here, maybe in the car, maybe in the bathroom, maybe into a pillow so her children would not hear. But right now, her face was calm, almost too calm. Justin's lawyer, Linus Dyke, stood up and cleared his throat. "My lord," Linus said, voice smooth like polished stone, "we are asking this court for a divorce on the grounds of adultery, deception, and emotional cruelty. We also ask for full custody of the children, and for Mrs. Okoye to pay child support. Given her current income, and the fact that her conduct has damaged this family." Justin nodded once. Slow. He had planned this. He had rehearsed this. He had told his friends, "I will finish her. She wants to disgrace me. I will show her that I am the man." He glanced back, just a little, to see if Annabelle was finally breaking. She wasn't, and that annoyed him more than shouting ever could. Linus continued, "Mrs. Okoye has behaved in ways that make her unfit." Annabelle's lawyer, Bernard Ebe, stood up before Linus could finish. "Objection, my lord," Bernard said. "We are ready to respond, but first, with the court's permission, we would like to submit medical evidence into record." Justin's eyebrows lifted. "Medical evidence?" He leaned forward, curious now. Linus frowned. "Medical evidence of what?" "Exactly?" Bernard didn't answer Linus. He faced the judge. "My lord, this case has been presented as if my client is the liar in the marriage, as if she is the one who broke the home." Bernard paused. "But the truth is, Mr. Okoye is not even the biological father of 2 of the 3 children he is trying to take." The courtroom did not react right away. It was like everyone needed a second to understand the words. Then someone gasped. A woman in the back whispered, "Ah." Justin laughed under his breath. A short, sharp sound. He actually smiled, because to him, this was perfect. To him, Bernard had just made Annabelle look worse. He turned to Linus and whispered, "You see? She's finished." Linus didn't smile back. Linus's face changed, just slightly, like he had stepped on something wet in the dark. The judge adjusted his glasses. "Counsel, are you saying 2 of the children are not Mr. Okoye's?" "Yes." "My lord," Bernard said, "we have medical records from Street, Catherine's hospital in Lekki, signed and sealed. We also have lab reports from a certified DNA facility in Victoria Island." Justin's smile froze. He blinked. Once. Twice. "Wait. What?" Linus leaned toward him and whispered quickly, "Justin, did you do a DNA test?" Justin's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Bernard's voice remained steady. "The records confirm that Mr. Okoye is the biological father of only the first child." Justin's chest tightened. His breath came out hot. No. 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 That was not possible. He turned around fully now, staring at Annabelle like she had suddenly changed into someone else. His eyes searched her face for fear, for regret, for anything. Annabelle met his eyes and held them. No smile. No anger. Just a calm look that said, "You wanted war. You brought me here. Now listen." Justin stood up so fast, his chair scraped the floor. "My lord," he shouted, voice cracking. "This is a lie. This is nonsense." The judge banged the gavel. "Order." Justin didn't sit. He couldn't. His whole body felt like it was burning from inside. He stared at Bernard, then at Linus, then at Annabelle again, and then he noticed Paul, standing near the door at the back of the courtroom, not sitting, not talking, just standing quietly, like he had been trained to stay invisible. Paul, the driver, the Okoye's driver, the man who opened their gate every morning, the man who carried their children's school bags, sometimes when the rain was too heavy. Paul's face was serious, almost sad, and for the first time in years, Justin's brain connected a line he had never wanted to see, a line from Annabelle to Paul. Justin's throat went dry. Bernard raised a document. "My lord," he said, "we also have the witness signature required for Annabelle's contract approval. Her husband refused." The witness who signed was Paul Adeyemi. The judge looked down at the paper. Paul Adeyemi? The family driver? Yes. "My lord." Justin's knees went weak. His lawyer grabbed his arm, whispering hard, "Sit down, Justin. Sit down before you ruin everything." But it was too late. The courtroom was awake now, alive. Whispers rolled through the benches like wind through dry leaves. "Driver? Ah. 2 children? How?" Justin's mind raced backward, dragging memories with it like broken glass. Annabelle smiling at Paul in the compound. Paul holding an umbrella over her head as she stepped out of the car. Paul carrying groceries inside when Annabelle's belly was heavy and she was tired. Paul speaking softly to the children when they cried. Justin had always thought, he is just a driver, just a man in uniform, just a shadow. But now that shadow had teeth. The judge banged the gavel again. "Order. Mr. Okoye, sit down. Any outburst again, and I will have you removed." Justin sat, but he wasn't really sitting. His heart was pounding so loud it felt like it could be heard. He looked at Annabelle again. And the fear finally arrived. Not fear of losing money, not fear of the court, not fear of shame. Fear of the one thing he never expected, that Annabelle had been silently living a life he knew nothing about. Inside the same house, Bernard spoke again, softer now, but sharper. "My lord, the petitioner has asked this court to ruin my client financially and label her unfit. But the truth is, Mr. Okoye spent years cheating, disrespecting his wife during and after her pregnancies, and treating her as if she was disposable." Justin clenched his fists. He wanted to interrupt. He wanted to shout, but something held him back. Because even though he wanted to deny everything, a part of him remembered the first time he cheated, and how easy it became after that. He remembered how Annabelle used to ask, "Justin, why don't you touch me anymore?" And how he would say, "I'm tired," while texting another woman under the blanket. He remembered how she cried once in the bathroom, and he walked past the door like he did not hear. And now, here she was, calm, cold, in control. The judge looked at Bernard. "Counsel, you've raised serious claims. We will take a recess, and we will review these documents." The gavel hit. Court is adjourned for 30 minutes. People stood up immediately, buzzing like bees. Justin stayed seated. He felt like his body was heavy, like someone had poured sand inside him. Linus leaned close. "Justin, if those DNA results are real, your custody request will not just fail. Your credibility will crash. We need to know right now, are those children yours?" Justin's lips trembled. He whispered, "They're my children." But even as he said it, his eyes slid to Paul again. Paul wasn't looking proud. He wasn't smiling. He looked like a man who had carried a secret for too long and was finally tired. Annabelle stood up and began to walk toward the exit, her steps slow and controlled. Justin jumped up and followed, pushing through people. "Annabelle," he called, voice rough. "Annabelle." She didn't stop until they reached the corridor outside the courtroom, where the light was brighter and the air smelled like old paper and sweat. Annabelle turned. Justin moved closer, keeping his voice low. "What is this?" he hissed. What are you trying to do? Annabelle stared at him for a long moment. Then she said something so quiet, Justin almost didn't hear it. I'm not trying to do anything, Justin. She blinked slowly. You did everything yourself. Justin's eyes narrowed. So you're saying, you slept with my driver? Annabelle didn't answer immediately. And that silence was worse than a slap. Justin's voice rose. Answer me. Bernard stepped between them. Mr. Okoye. Keep your voice down. This is a court building. Justin pointed past Bernard at Annabelle. You want to destroy me? After everything I did for you? After I married you? Annabelle's face finally changed. Not anger. Not fear. Something else. Disappointment. Deep. Heavy. Like someone watching a cup break after holding it carefully for years. You keep saying everything you did for me, she said quietly. But you never ask what you did to me. Justin's chest rose and fell fast. Annabelle leaned closer, just enough for him to hear her clearly. When I got pregnant the second time, I was sick almost every day. You stopped touching me. You stopped talking to me. You started acting like I was a punishment. And you know what hurt the most? Justin's eyes flicked, restless. Annabelle's voice softened. You didn't even try. Justin swallowed. Annabelle stepped back. Enjoy your recess. And she turned to walk away. Justin grabbed her wrist. She froze. The corridor fell silent around them. People watched. Annabelle looked down at his hand, holding her. Then she looked up at him. Her eyes were steady. Justin suddenly felt ashamed, but his pride refused to let go. Tell me the truth, he said, voice shaking now. Are those children mine? Annabelle's lips parted slightly. For a second, Justin thought she might finally cry. But she didn't. She leaned closer and whispered only one sentence. You should have asked that question years ago. Justin's hand loosened like it had been burned. Annabelle walked away. Justin stood there, frozen, because the way she said it did not sound like a denial. It sounded like a door closing. And as Justin watched her disappear down the hallway, Linus's phone buzzed. Linus checked it. His face went pale. He looked up at Justin slowly. Justin, Linus whispered, the judge's clerk just told me something. Bernard submitted more documents than he showed in court. Justin's stomach dropped. Linus swallowed hard. There's a private letter attached, and it mentions Paul by name. It also mentions a date. Justin's voice came out hoarse. What date? Linus looked at him, eyes wide. The date, he said, is the same week your second child was conceived. Justin's heart thudded like a drum. He stared down the corridor, at the spot where Annabelle had disappeared, and all he could think was what else had she been hiding. The Okoye house in Magodo looked the same from the outside. Same tall gate painted cream, same mango tree by the fence, same security light that flickered every evening like it was tired of shining. But inside, the house had been holding its breath for years. Justin returned home that night, after the court recess, with a storm inside him. He didn't drive fast. He didn't blast music. He didn't make phone calls. He drove in silence, the kind of silence that presses on your ears until your thoughts start shouting. When he pushed the gate open, the compound lights came on automatically. Paul was already outside, wiping his hands with a rag. Good evening, sir, Paul said, voice calm, respectful, as always. Justin didn't answer. He just stared. Really stared. Paul stood straight, eyes forward. No shaking, no guilt written on his face. If anything, he looked tired. Justin walked past him without a word and entered the house. Annabelle was in the living room, sitting on the couch with her laptop open. She was still in her work clothes. Her heels were off. Her feet were tucked under her like she had been sitting there for a long time. The television was on, but the volume was low. A children's cartoon played, Forgotten. The kids were asleep upstairs. Justin stopped at the doorway and watched her. There was a time he would have felt proud seeing her like this. Focused. Sharp. Strong. Now, it made his chest burn. So, he said finally. Annabelle didn't look up. So, she replied. That was it. 2 words. Heavy. Justin walked in and dropped his car keys on the center table. They landed with a loud clack that echoed. You embarrassed me today, he said. Annabelle typed something, hit save, then closed the laptop slowly. She placed it beside her and finally looked at him. You embarrassed yourself, she said. Justin laughed. A bitter, sharp laugh. You think you're smart? He snapped. You think you're clever because you planned all this with my driver. Annabelle inhaled, then exhaled. You still think this is about cleverness, she said quietly. That's your problem. Justin paced the room like a trapped animal. Answer me, he said. Did you sleep with Paul? Annabelle stood up. She was shorter than Justin, but when she stood, there was something about her posture that made him feel small. Yes, she said. Just like that. No shaking voice. No tears. No apology. Justin froze. The honesty hit him harder than denial ever could. You. His voice broke. He cleared his throat. You slept with my driver. Annabelle tilted her head slightly. You slept with strangers. Justin's face hardened. That's different. Annabelle smiled. Not a happy smile. A sad one. That's exactly what you told yourself every time, she said. Justin clenched his fists. So what? You were lonely? That's your excuse. Annabelle shook her head. No. I was invisible. That word landed softly. Invisible. Justin scoffed. I provided for you. Annabelle nodded. You paid bills. Justin frowned. I gave you a house. She nodded again. You gave rules. His voice rose. I married you, and then you left, she said, finally raising her voice. Not physically. You were here, but you left me alone inside my own body. Silence stretched between them. Justin swallowed. And the children? He asked, slower now. Are they his? Annabelle didn't answer right away. She walked to the window and stared outside at the compound light, blinking like it was unsure. The first one is yours, she said. You know that? Justin nodded quickly. Yes. Yes. The others, she continued, came after you stopped coming home emotionally. Justin closed his eyes. Memories flashed. Late nights. Excuses. Perfume on his shirt that wasn't Annabelle's. You let me raise them, he whispered. Annabelle turned back to him. You never asked. Justin opened his eyes. You never once asked me if I was okay, she said. You never asked why I stopped begging you. You just assumed I accepted your distance. She stepped closer. I didn't, she said. I survived it. Justin's voice dropped. And Paul? Annabelle hesitated. Just a second. He listened, she said. That's how it started. Justin let out a harsh laugh. Of course. He respected me, she continued. He never touched me. Until I said yes. He never made me feel like my body was a problem. Justin's chest felt tight. Do you love him? He asked. The question slipped out before he could stop it. Annabelle looked surprised, then thoughtful. I don't know, she said honestly, but I trust him. That hurt more than yes would have. Justin turned away. Upstairs, a child coughed in their sleep. Life continuing. Why didn't you leave me? Justin asked quietly. Annabelle folded her arms. Because I was scared, she said. Because I had children. Because this society doesn't forgive women easily. Because I wanted peace. Justin laughed again. Peace? Yes, she said. The peace you never gave me. Justin ran his hands through his hair. And now? He asked. Annabelle met his eyes. Now I want truth, she said. Even if it's loud. Justin nodded slowly. Then you'll regret this, he said. Annabelle didn't flinch. I already survived you, she said. What else can you do? Justin turned and stormed upstairs. Paul stood by the staircase, holding a small bag. I'll leave now, Paul said softly. Annabelle looked at him. You don't have to. Paul shook his head. I do. Justin stopped halfway up the stairs and turned. You, he said to Paul, voice shaking with rage. You think you won? Paul looked at him. Eyes steady. No, sir. He said, nobody wins this. Justin laughed bitterly. Get out. Paul nodded once, placed the bag down gently, and walked toward the door. Before leaving, he turned to Annabelle. I'll call tomorrow, he said. Annabelle nodded. The door closed behind him. The house exhaled. Justin stood still for a long time. Then he went into the bedroom and locked the door. He sat on the edge of the bed, staring at nothing. His phone buzzed. A message from Linus. Linus. We need to talk urgently. Bernard submitted hospital records from 3 different dates. Also, there's a witness statement coming. Justin typed back with shaking fingers. Justin. What witness? 3 dots appeared, then stopped, then appeared again. Finally, the message came. Linus. Paul. Justin's phone slipped from his hand and hit the floor. He stared at it like it had betrayed him too. Downstairs, Annabelle sat alone in the living room. She didn't cry. She just stared at the blank television screen, her reflection staring back. Her hands trembled slightly. This was not easy. None of it was. She whispered to herself, barely audible, I should have left earlier. Upstairs. Justin paced like a caged lion. His pride was bleeding. His plan was collapsing. And somewhere deep inside, a new fear was growing. Not fear of court. Not fear of money. Fear of the story coming out. Because once people started talking, they wouldn't stop. His phone buzzed again. This time, a different name. Unknown number. He answered. Hello? A calm female voice replied. Mr. Okoye, the voice said. This is Street Catherine's hospital. We're calling to confirm that you received the certified copies of your DNA test results. Justin's knees buckled. I didn't request. There was a pause. Then the voice said gently, Sir, the request came from your wife. The line went dead. Justin sank onto the bed. His chest felt hollow. Below him, Annabelle stood up and walked toward the staircase. She stopped halfway, listening. Justin was silent. Too silent. And for the first time since this all began, Annabelle felt something unexpected. Not victory. Fear. Because the quiet she heard upstairs, it sounded like the kind that comes before something breaks. Mourning came quietly. Too quietly. The kind of mourning that feels wrong because nothing is wrong yet, but you can sense it coming. Annabelle woke before her alarm. She lay still in bed, staring at the ceiling fan as it spun slowly, making a soft clicking sound. Justin was not beside her. His side of the bed was untouched. That alone told her he hadn't slept. She sat up slowly, careful not to wake the children in the next room. Her body felt heavy, not from pregnancy this time, but from the weight of waiting. Waiting for anger, waiting for shouting, waiting for consequences. She stepped out of the bedroom and moved through the hallway. The house smelled like last night cold food, old air, unfinished conversations. Downstairs, the living room curtains were half open. Sunlight spilled in weakly, landing on the center table where Justin's car keys still lay, exactly where he had dropped them. Annabelle stood there for a moment, staring at the keys. So much noise had come from something so small. She walked into the kitchen. The kettle was cold. No sign Justin had eaten. No sign he had even come downstairs. She poured herself a glass of water, drank slowly, then set it down with shaking hands. Her phone buzzed. "Good morning. Are you okay?" She stared at the message for a long time before replying. "Annabelle. I'm breathing." 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. "Paul. I'm sorry." That one word carried more weight than all of Justin's explanations over the years. Annabelle. Typed, erased, typed. Again. "Annabelle. Don't be. Just be careful." She locked the phone and slipped it into her pocket. Upstairs, a door opened. Annabelle looked up, just as Justin appeared at the top of the stairs. He looked terrible. His eyes were red. His shirt was wrinkled. His face looked older, like the night had carved something out of him. They stared at each other across the staircase. Neither spoke. Then Justin walked down slowly, each step deliberate. "You planned this," he said when he reached the bottom. Annabelle leaned against the counter. "No," she said. "I survived this." Justin scoffed. "You went behind my back." Annabelle nodded. "Yes." Justin's eyes narrowed. "So you admit it?" "I admit I protected myself," she said. "The same way you protected your secrets." Justin laughed, but it cracked halfway. "You think you're the victim here?" he said. "Do you know what people will say when this comes out?" Annabelle's voice stayed calm. "I know what they already say when women stay silent." Justin moved closer. "You ruined my name." She met his eyes. "You rented it out yourself." Silence. Then Justin said something that surprised even him. "I loved you once." Annabelle's throat tightened, but she didn't look away. "I know," she said. "Then why?" he asked, almost pleading now. "Why, Paul?" Annabelle swallowed. "Because he saw me," she said. "When I stopped seeing myself." Justin turned away sharply. At that exact moment, the doorbell rang. Both of them froze. Annabelle frowned. "Who is that?" Justin didn't answer. The doorbell rang again. Longer this time. Annabelle walked toward the door and opened it. 2 women stood outside. One was tall, wearing a navy skirt suit and holding a brown envelope. The other held a clipboard. "Mrs. Annabelle Okoye?" the tall woman asked. "Yes," Annabelle replied carefully. "I'm Mrs. Salami from Family Court Records," she said. "These are official service documents." Justin appeared behind Annabelle, his face drained of color. The woman handed the envelope to Annabelle. "Your husband has filed an urgent motion," she said. "We're required to serve you immediately." Justin snapped. "I told you to send that to her office." Mrs. Salami looked at him coolly. "Court protocol does not wait for convenience, sir." Annabelle looked down at the envelope. Her name printed in bold. She didn't open it yet. "Thank you," she said, stepping aside to let them leave. The door closed. The house felt smaller. Justin rubbed his face. "I warned you." Annabelle held the envelope calmly. "You warned me after you cheated for years." Justin raised his voice. "You don't get to rewrite history." Annabelle finally snapped. "I lived that history," she said. "In this house. In that bed. In silence." Justin stared at her. Then his phone rang. He answered immediately. "Yes, Linus." Annabelle listened as Justin's expression changed again. "What?" he said. "Who spoke to him?" He listened longer. "No. That's not possible," he said. "He's just a driver." Annabelle's heart skipped. Justin ended the call slowly. He looked at her. "Paul met with Bernard this morning," he said. He signed a sworn statement. Annabelle closed her eyes. Justin's voice trembled with rage. "He's telling them everything." Annabelle whispered, "I told him to be careful." Justin slammed his fist against the wall. You humiliated me, he shouted. Now, you're turning him into a hero. Annabelle opened the envelope calmly. She read, and as she read, her face tightened. Justin leaned in. What does it say? She looked up. You're asking the court to declare me emotionally unstable, she said slowly. You're asking for full custody, and you want me to pay you child support. Justin straightened. That's the law. Annabelle folded the paper neatly. No, she said. That's revenge. Justin stepped closer. I will take everything from you. Annabelle met his eyes. You already tried, she said. Justin's phone rang again. This time, he didn't answer fast enough. Annabelle saw the name on the screen, MRS. Oko. Mother, Justin answered. Mummy. The voice on the other end was loud enough for Annabelle to hear. Justin, his mother shouted. What is this nonsense I'm hearing? Justin's face tightened. What nonsense? People are calling me, she yelled. They are saying your children are not yours. They are saying your wife slept with your driver. Justin's hand shook. Who told you? He asked. There was a pause. Then his mother said the sentence that made Annabelle's stomach drop. Paul's cousin works at the court registry. Justin's face went pale. The truth was no longer walking. It was running. And it was faster than all of them. Justin lowered the phone slowly. Annabelle whispered, I never wanted this. Justin laughed, a broken sound. Well, he said, now it's bigger than you. Downstairs. The children laughed suddenly, running into the living room, unaware. Annabelle forced a smile. Justin stared at them like strangers. His phone buzzed again. A message from Linus. Linus. Emergency. Media inquiry just came in. Someone leaked the DNA angle. We're losing control. Justin's knees weakened. Annabelle looked at him and finally felt it clearly. This was no longer about marriage. This was about exposure. And once a story like this enters the public, it never leaves quietly. Justin whispered, almost to himself. What have you done? Annabelle answered softly. What you taught me to do. The front gate opened suddenly. A car pulled into the compound. Annabelle looked out the window. Her breath caught. Bernard's car, and behind it Paul. Standing outside the gate. Waiting. The gate creaked as it closed behind Bernard's car. The sound carried through the compound like a warning. Annabelle stood by the window, her hand pressed lightly against the glass. She watched Paul step forward slowly. Not rushing. Not hiding. He wore a plain shirt and dark trousers. No driver's uniform. No cap. Just a man. Justin moved beside her and saw him too. His jaw tightened. So, Justin muttered. He's bold now. Annabelle didn't reply. She walked toward the door before Justin could stop her. Justin grabbed her arm. You don't need to talk to him. Annabelle looked down at his hand. Slowly, deliberately, she removed it. I decide what I need now, she said. She opened the door. Paul stood a few steps back, respectful as always. Bernard remained near the car, giving them space, phone in hand. Good morning, madam, Paul said softly. Annabelle nodded. Good morning. Justin stepped forward, anger spilling out of him. You, Justin said, pointing. You've said enough already. Paul looked at him calmly. I've only said the truth. Justin laughed harshly. You think truth protects you? Paul didn't raise his voice. No, sir. But lies don't protect anyone forever. That sentence landed hard. Justin's eyes burned. You entered my house. You ate my food. Paul nodded. Yes. And you slept with my wife. Annabelle stiffened. Paul inhaled deeply. I loved her when you treated her like she was already gone. Justin lunged forward. Bernard stepped in instantly. Justin. Touch him. and this becomes a criminal case. Justin froze, breathing hard. The children's laughter floated down from upstairs again. Annabelle felt her chest tighten. "Not here," she said. "Not in front of them." She turned to Paul. "Why did you come?" Paul hesitated. "I needed to tell you something before court resumes," he said. "Something you should hear from me, not documents." Justin scoffed. "Oh, there's more?" Paul looked directly at Annabelle. "Linus has been visiting hospitals. He's trying to find a way to challenge the DNA records. He's also digging into your work contract." Annabelle's stomach dropped. Bernard looked up sharply. "How do you know this?" Paul swallowed. "Because Linus came to see me last night." Justin spun around. "What?" Paul continued, voice steady but tired. "He offered me money. A lot of money. He said, if I denied everything, said it was all your idea, he would make sure I never went to prison." Annabelle's hands trembled. Justin stared at Paul, disbelief flashing across his face. "You're lying." Paul shook his head. "I refused." Bernard exhaled slowly. "Did he put this offer in writing?" Paul nodded. "I recorded it." Silence crashed down. Justin staggered back, like he had been slapped. Annabelle felt something break inside her. Not relief. Not joy. Something sadder. "So even now," she whispered, "you're still trying to erase me." Justin's voice dropped. "I was protecting myself." Annabelle laughed softly. "That's what you always call it." Bernard cleared his throat. "Annabelle, this changes things. Attempted witness tampering is serious." Justin snapped. "You're enjoying this." Bernard met his eyes. "No, I'm doing my job." Paul shifted uncomfortably. "There's something else." Annabelle's heart thudded. "What?" Paul looked down at the ground. "Linus told me something. He said Justin believes the court will forgive everything if he proves you were unstable after childbirth." Annabelle felt cold spread through her body. Justin looked away. "You told them I was unstable?" she asked quietly. Justin didn't answer. Bernard's voice was tight. "Postpartum records can be weaponized. This is dangerous." Annabelle swallowed. "You used my weakest moments." Justin exploded. "You think I had a choice? You humiliated me." Annabelle stepped closer to him, her voice shaking now. "I was sick. I was bleeding. I was scared. And you turned that into a weapon." Justin's shoulders sagged. For a moment, he looked small. "I didn't think you'd fight back," he admitted. That hurt more than shouting. Paul spoke gently. "She didn't fight back. She stood up." Annabelle closed her eyes. This was not how she imagined strength would feel. Bernard checked his watch. "Court resumes in 2 hours. Paul, I need that recording immediately." Paul nodded. "I'll send it now." He hesitated, then looked at Annabelle. "Whatever happens, I don't regret protecting you." Justin snapped. "You should." Paul met his gaze. "I already lived poor." "Sir, threats don't scare me." Bernard turned to Annabelle. "You should prepare. Linus will come hard." Annabelle nodded slowly. Paul stepped back toward the gate. Justin watched him go, something like panic creeping into his eyes. Annabelle turned toward the staircase. "Where are you going?" Justin asked. "To talk to my children," she said. Justin frowned. "Why?" Annabelle stopped halfway up. "Because they deserve honesty," she said. "Not stories built on fear." Justin's chest tightened. "You're turning them against me." Annabelle looked back at him. "No," she said. "Your choices did that." Upstairs, she sat on the edge of the bed with the children gathered around her. "Are you and Daddy fighting?" the youngest asked. Annabelle smiled weakly. "We're talking about hard things." "Will Daddy leave?" another asked. Annabelle hugged them close. "Whatever happens, you are loved." Downstairs. Justin paced alone. His phone buzzed again. Linus. Situation worsening. Judge has been informed about the recording. We may lose leverage. Justin typed back angrily. Justin, fix it. The reply came slower this time. Linus. Some things can't be fixed. Only survived. Justin stared at the message. For the first time, fear wrapped around his chest tightly. Not fear of Annabelle. Fear of losing control. Outside, Bernard's car engine started. Paul was gone, and with him, the silence Justin depended on. Justin whispered to himself, she was supposed to break. Upstairs, Annabelle held her children tighter. She whispered back, though he couldn't hear her. I already did, and I stood up anyway. Her phone vibrated. A new message, unknown number. If you want the full truth about Justin's affairs, meet me before court. I know everything. Annabelle's heart stopped. She stared at the screen, because suddenly she understood. This story was still growing, and the next truth might be bigger than all of them. The courtroom was full before Annabelle arrived. Too full. People leaned against walls. Reporters whispered behind notebooks. Someone's phone buzzed and was quickly silenced. The air smelled like sweat, paper, and impatience. Annabelle paused at the entrance. For a second, just a second, her legs felt weak. Not because she was afraid of Justin anymore, but because she finally understood something simple and heavy. Once truth enters a room, it does not ask permission. Bernard stood beside her. Calm. Solid. You don't need to rush, he said softly. Annabelle nodded. She stepped in. Justin was already seated. He looked nothing like the man who once walked into rooms with confidence. His shoulders were stiff. His eyes darted. His suit looked expensive, but it sat on him like borrowed skin. Linus leaned toward him, whispering fast. Justin didn't answer. He kept staring at Annabelle. Not with anger this time, with disbelief. Like he still expected her to suddenly apologize and make this all stop. Annabelle did not sit beside him. She took her place across the aisle. Separate. Clear. The judge entered. Everyone stood. Be seated. Silence dropped like a curtain. Linus rose first. My lord. He began. Voice smooth but strained. We maintain our position. Mrs. Okoye's actions show deception, emotional instability, and Bernard stood. My lord, he said calmly, before counsel continues, we request permission to submit additional evidence relevant to credibility, intent, and attempted interference with justice. Linus stiffened. Justin swallowed. The judge adjusted his glasses. Proceed. Bernard nodded and turned slightly. Call Paul Adeyemi. A murmur rolled through the courtroom. Paul stepped forward. No uniform, no drama, just quiet dignity. He took the stand and swore the oath. Justin stared at him, jaw clenched. Bernard's voice was steady. Mr. Adeyemi, did you work as a driver for the Okoye family? Yes. For how long? 5 years. During that time, did Mr. Okoye ever ask you to lie on his behalf? Paul hesitated. Justin leaned forward. Linus shifted in his seat. Yes, Paul said. The word landed hard. When? 2 nights ago. Bernard nodded. What did he ask you to do? Paul took a breath. To deny my relationship with Mrs. Okoye, to say she manipulated me, to say the children were part of a plan. A sharp intake of breath echoed somewhere behind Annabelle. And what was offered in exchange? Bernard asked. Paul looked at Justin briefly, then back to the judge. Money, he said. Protection. Silence. Bernard lifted his hand. My lord, with permission, we submit the audio recording of that conversation. Linus jumped up. Objection. The judge raised a hand. On what grounds? Linus's mouth opened, then closed. None, my lord. The audio played. Justin's voice filled the room. Clear. Panicked. Just say she planned it. Say she's unstable. I'll make sure you're taken care of. Annabelle closed her eyes. She didn't need to hear the rest. The judge stopped the recording. The silence afterward was loud. Justin's head dropped. Bernard continued. My lord, this shows intent to manipulate witnesses and weaponize mental health records against a spouse. We also submit certified DNA reports confirming that Mr. Okoye is the biological father of only the first child. Linus stood again, desperate now. My lord, even if this is true, Mrs. Okoye admitted to adultery. Bernard didn't raise his voice, and Mr. Okoye admitted to years of infidelity, neglect, and emotional abandonment. The difference is this. My client stopped pretending. The judge leaned back. His voice was measured. Mr. Okoye, he said, do you wish to respond? Justin stood slowly. For a moment, it looked like he might speak. Then his shoulders slumped. No, he said quietly. That single word ended everything he had planned. The judge nodded once. I have heard enough, he said. This court finds that Mr. Okoye's claims of sole custody lack credibility. His attempts to discredit his wife and interfere with testimony are noted. Justin closed his eyes. Custody will be shared, the judge continued. Primary residence will be with Mrs. Okoye. Financial penalties and further review will follow. The gavel struck. It is so ordered. That was it. No explosion. No shouting. Just finality. Annabelle didn't smile. She didn't cry. She just breathed. Outside the courtroom, sunlight spilled across the steps. Reporters rushed forward, calling her name. Mrs. Okoye, any comment? Annabelle paused. She turned. Her voice was soft but clear. This story teaches one thing, she said. Silence is not peace. It is just pain that hasn't spoken yet. She walked away. Justin stood alone behind her. No one followed him. Later that evening, Annabelle sat in her car outside her office building. The contract papers lay on the passenger seat. She didn't rush inside. She just sat, thinking. She thought about the girl she had been when she married Justin. Hopeful, patient, quiet. She thought about the woman she became. Tired, invisible, and the woman she was now. Standing, she learned something important. Cheating doesn't start with sex. It starts with disrespect, with dismissal, with making someone feel small enough to disappear. Justin believed control was strength, but control is fragile. The moment truth shows up, it shatters. Paul never wanted power. He offered presence. That was enough. And Annabelle, she learned that dignity doesn't scream. It walks away calmly and lets consequences speak. Across town, Justin sat in his dark living room. No lights. No music. Just the echo of his own choices. For the first time, no one was listening. And that was the real punishment. What is your view about this story? Where are you watching from? Do well to let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more interesting stories. Stay blessed.